Welcome everybody to the 2013 Bean pre-draft odds.
Richie, what can you say about the new teams joining our league?
Well, I would like to first say welcome to Paul, John, and Chris. I don't know Paul that well as far as his competitive nature regarding fantasy baseball. I am in a league with him, but it's a different style league. It's head-to-head. It's not rotisserie style, and there's a big difference there. Head-to-head, if you have a bad week, so be it, you can recover. It's about making the playoffs and then moving forward. And if you get knocked out, it doesn't always say how good of a team you were. So I do know that he did finish with the best record in the regular season, and he seems to have a little bit of an offensive-minded mentality. It's also an online draft in his league. So, now you come into the reality of real life, in-person, 14 teams, 15 teams, a lot of experience in the room, the pressure of the clock, and that's where I don't know how he's going to handle it. And also with being cumulative, rotisserie style. So I think he'll show some ability. I just don't think he has a shot at winning, and I'm going to give him 200 to 1 odds. The other crew that we have is Chris and John. They don't have a team name yet, but we do know John from our past. He did actually draft for Richard Stark a couple of years ago, and I remember him being very confident in the room and being very attentive and quick with his picks, and that tells me something. And it also shows me that when his partner Chris posted a message about why don't we keep the roster requirements the same for 15 teams, it gives me an idea of that he's confident with his ability. Because good players want a deeper league because they feel like they have more knowledge and it would benefit them. And I know that they surf the web with some of these fantasy sports websites that I don't want to tell anybody about. And that goes to show me that they're going to be better than people expect. And I'm not going to say they're going to win. I think that the draft is going to be a little too tough for them. And I give them about 150 to 1 odds.
Richie, why do you say these teams have no shot? Slots.
Well, Slots to me is, you can't call him the master strategist anymore. That moniker, he doesn't deserve. He's lost. Here's a guy that when he's finally doing good in a season, he gets real nervous, overexcited, and he always makes the wrong move. And then what happens when he makes the wrong move? Bad luck. It gets compounded with an injury. He doesn't know how to recover. He has no backbone or resume to stand by. Big deal he finished second place 1 year at the gym. What was that, 10 years ago? I just think that he's out of his element, gets nervous, doesn't know how to draft, his lists aren't long enough, he lacks preparation, and he's maybe 500 to 1 to win.
Eyeballs, which I think I'm going to change to sleazeballs.
Well, Eyeballs is my favorite to finish in last place. Now, this is the partnership of Joe Bean and Phil Bean. And this is the perfect example of non-prepared, just buy a magazine and follow the magazine. They don't know who has the games required. They don't know who's hurt. They don't know anything. This is $600 donated, spread up to the team who wins, to the team who comes in third. They just come for the food. They bend over and they talk and whisper in each other's ear. What are they whispering to each other? Like no one in the room knows what they're talking about. They have no idea what they're doing. They stink. Last place, 1,000 to 1.
Cream team.
I love Darryl, owner of the Cream Team, and he's one of the oldest guys in the room. And it's, soon enough we're going to see him have to hire a nurse for these drafts. Someone's going to have to wipe the drool from his mouth, change his pens. Talk about a cuckoo. Everybody loves him, a nice guy, but the one thing you don't want to do with Darryl is get him on the phone and talk trade with him. This is a guy that will keep you on the phone for 45 minutes. You're going to go crazy, and you're going to get nothing done. Besides that, his draft skills are weak. He's a panic drafter. If he gets the 14th pick, which he often has, he follows up the 15th pick with the same position. He'll go catcher. He'll go pitcher. He'll go first baseman. He doesn't know how to adjust. He's not creative enough, and he's just too old. He doesn't have his senses. He's senile, and you know what? I maybe 600 to 1. I don't know. No shot whatsoever.
Are there any teams that will perhaps show something but fall short?
Well, there's a good group of teams as I look at my notes. Let's talk about McFlint. McFlint is, they're kind of boring. They're constantly bickering. They always fight with each other. They can't get on the same page. And when you're a partnership, you got to flow in these drafts. I call it the goon and the small guy, because there's going to be a time when we're going to have to take Chris off of Richie because he's going to want to throw him across the room. There's no skill, I think, in their coordination. They got lucky a couple of years in the league. They won a league by a half a point, just squeaked it out against Rob Wolf. And to me, it's just a matter of luck. They got a player with the 4th pick. They should have never fell to the 4th pick. So, I don't know. I just think that they're going to push the limits with the clock. They're going to fight constantly to the draft, and they're just not going to get anything done. And all they're going to do is float around in the middle of the pack. Also, we got Bistro Smokers. These are nice guys. They're the first year was last year in our league. Sal and Walter, they really showed a good showing. They were fighting for 3rd, fighting for 4th, came really close. They ended up winning 4th. But what happened to me was that I think tells most about them is they got really, really nervous down the stretch. They panicked. Their moves were questionable. They didn't really run their roster right. And I think the draft was a little overwhelming for them too. So, I think that Bistro Smokers, nice guys, and they'll text you and they'll constantly talk deal with you. But I think their skill level as far as drafters go and their team operation, in-season operation, needs to improve if they want any shot at a title. 24 home run. Now, what can I say about 24 home run? I mean, the loudest team in the league, multiple titles back to back. So, hey, listen, you got to give them credit there. But I think this is a team that has taken a step back. The door. Someone's coming down. This is a team that's taken a step back. Close the door. I don't want the door open. Close the door. I'm sorry, guys. I had an interruption. Okay. This is a team, 24 home run. This is a team that has taken a step back. Little overwhelmed in the drafts now. They can't compete. They make some crazy draft picks. They push the limits on the clock on purpose. And I just don't know where they're going at. I mean, some of the names that they yell out in the draft are just way, way crazy. They will always compete somewhat, but at the end of the day, the team operation is below par. They'll always be 3rd, 4th, 2nd, and then collapse. They never take into account the importance of having every position. They seem to be too offensive-minded, and they're extremely hard to deal with. And they use strategic methods as far as, trying to compete. So, I don't know. Another team I like to talk about is the Mets. The Mets, Richie Stark, thank you, Richie, for getting John in and Chris in, and we appreciate the team. Rich has really competed well since he's been in the league. But I think he needs to change it up. Put a little more energy in here. Zap, some fire into the team. They seem to be a little lethargic with his moves, a little boring, no excitement, constantly... same type of players. He's a Mets fan and consistently picks Mets players. So I just think I need to see a little more preparation with him, a little more creativity, a little more innovation. So if I were to say Mets, Richard Stark, I'd give him about 125 to 1 odds. Bistro Smokers, I don't know Bistro Smokers. I'd give him about 150 to 1 odds. 24 home run, I'll give about 90 to 1 odds. And McFlint, I give about 250 to 1 odds. Now we'll talk about the teams that have a shot at the title.
Well, Richie, who has the best shot?
Well, I would say the 5th team, the team that I think has the 5th best shot at winning is Gem. Now, Tom Polina definitely showed a lot of skill last year, and he has showed skill traditionally every year. Constantly fights for the title, constantly is a great drafter. He'll go in a clunker here and there, but we all do. Last year, he had an unbelievable team, and in most years, 118.5 points would win a league. He just got overtaken by a good team. It just happened to be. But I would take his point total every single year, and you win 9 out of 10 years. Great drafter, targets well, and his targets always seem to work out deep. He's always prepared, multiple positions, and he's willing to deal. So I think that Gem has a great shot to compete. I don't know if he could win it. He doesn't have a true feel for baseball. He's more of a numbers cruncher, and I'll give him about 60 to 1 odds. My 4th favorite to win is Rob Wolf. Now, normally I would put Rob Wolf number 1, and there was a time when Rob Wolf had the pick of his litter as far as winning this league. great drafter, always stuck to his style. But I noticed 2 or 3 years ago that he was getting flustered in the drafts and confused and straying off his plan. And he's really changed a lot in his drafting. I think the draft in whole has gotten more competitive. And I don't know if Rob has been quick to adjust to it. You know, he did compete for 4th place last year and got beat out, but that's below Rob's standards. Rob is someone that should be competing every year. Until I see that adjustment, you know, I just can't put him in there. I've been predicting him in 3 years, 4 years in a row, and no. To me, 10 to 1 the most, but right now I'm going to give him 25 to 1, Rob Wolf to win. My third favorite, believe it or not, is Eugene, the club. Now, okay, here we go. Everybody thinks this is a surprise. But what I like about Eugene is he doesn't waste a season. Okay, he comes and he tries and he tries. No matter where his team is, he continues to make moves and he learns. And if you look at last year's team, he had a great team last year. He lost 2 key players offensively and he lost maybe 3 or 4 on the pitching. He had too many injuries, but he constantly moves. He moved up and down and he competed. And 2 years ago, he did the same thing. He competes and he learns on losing seasons. And this is why I think Eugene's going to be the surprise. And if anybody wins it other than the top contenders, look for Eugene. And I give Eugene 10 to 1 odds to win the thing. Now, my second choice to win is time zones. Welcome back, Donald. I think people forget a lot about how good Donald is. Donald is stubborn and shrewd, and he will always keep his plan the same style, okay? And he never sways any direction. If you want to try to make a deal with Donald, forget about it. You will have to give up your arms and your legs. And I'm glad he's back because people forget how good he is. You know, Donald is someone that knows how to run a team. He sticks to his plan, and he's just constantly a boring person and very dry, but he's competitive. And I give him 4 to 1. And obviously, the favorite to win the league is me, the Bean Team. I mean, what more can you say? The defending champ just scrutinizes the waiver wire in depth. Never wastes a draft pick. Never wastes a move. Always knows what people are thinking before they're even thinking about it. And, you know, just the most prepared and the most dominant team, the most dominant season. And I give the Bean Team 2 to 1. Stop.
Can I ask you one more